Hello, everyone. My name is Malik L. Train. I'm the host of Health Awareness Talk. Today's title is The Power of Complete Balance by Dr. Robert Rankin Jr. Today we'll be talking about complete balance of mind, complete balance of body, and complete spiritual balance. That sounds interesting. Hello, Dr. Rankin. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. How you doing, Malik?
Oh, just fine. Thank you. Could you tell us more about yourself and what you do?
Yes. Well, to start off, I have my doctorate is PhD level. I have a doctorate degree in religious theology. My master's in psychology. My bachelor's is in business with a concentration in administration. Um, I was I've been a business owner for going on 11 years now. I am currently phasing myself out of business because I am going into retirement. I'm going into full retirement as of next month. I have worked 5 years in mental health, working with mental retardation, developmental disability, substance abuse, and and other people with disabilities or mental disorders like PTSD and bipolar schizophrenia. I've also, in my time, I've worked as a teacher. I did all of that in Rowan County. I'm married for almost 11 years now. Have two girls, 9 and 4. I, for years, I own an entertainment organization right now called Nefis Entertainment Group. We're located 8539 Monroe Road, Suite 111, and I am helping other businesses build. Outside of doing that, I'm also working as a PR business consultant. One of those businesses that I am currently working with is an organization called Lasco Cancer Fund, and it's overseen by its CEO and its founder, Robert Lasco, who in 2013 was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is a cancer of the bone marrow. So I have been working with him. He has had a long journey. He went from being completely paralyzed to now he's able to walk with a cane, and he has set out this mission to build awareness on cancer targeting multiple myeloma. So, like I said, as their current PR person, I've been helping them to spread the awareness of cancer and of the importance of being tested and not taking the symptoms too lightly. A lot of people, when it comes down to their health, they'll take a small symptom and they'll brush it off. And then when they go to the hospital 3, 4 months later, they'll find out that instead of, going and getting it looked at when they first noticed a lump, or when they first noticed they were always fatigued, or when they first noticed that they were always dehydrated, instead of going in, which those are signs of some cancers. When they when they notice these things, a lot of people brush those things off, and then when they go to the hospital, they find out that they're in stage 3 or stage 4 cancer. Which normally, once you get in stage 4 cancer, especially if it's in a place where they cannot operate, that's fatal. There's nothing you can pretty much do about that. But luckily for Robert Lasco, when they cut his, he was in stage 1. So they were able to give him his chemotherapy. They were able to give him his operation, and he has now been in remission for a year. So I'm helping him. I believe that is a really good cause. Awareness is a big key in society right now. Is building the awareness when it comes down to health and taking care of yourself. I am also helping my wife. She's on the health improvement side as well, but she does the massage therapy side of it. She has her own. She has her own location. It's at 8539 Monroe Road, and it's Suite 110. And she does massage therapy. She does deep tissue massages, She does full relaxation. She does full body massages, and she pretty much works with me. We pretty much work together to kind of build the awareness. She goes in and gets the physical side of it. She goes in and works the muscles and loosens the people up, where I do more of the educating and the business side of everything.
Oh, okay, that's super. You also support a church?
Yes, there's a church, the church that I am currently attending right now, which is the Rock of the Kingdom, which is located off of Prince Hall Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's located right off of Graham Street, right down from the Crisis Assistance building. And we have been attending their church probably right at a year, and their ministry is really good. They have a very, very positive word that is presented. The pastor, Pastor Joe Howard, and his wife, First Lady, they do a great job of making their ministry family oriented. They do a good job of, they go out to the prison, they do a prison ministry, and they're real big on community. They're real big on family. They hold a lot of family events. They hold a lot of community events. So that is why, I have come in, and on first Sundays, I exhortate scripture, which is exhortate means to break down, to build an understanding. So on first Sundays, that's where I am, and I take the scripture and I break it down for the understanding, and then I am followed by Robert Lasco of Lasco Cancer Fund. He is also he's a licensed pastor as well, but he is doing pretty much the same thing as I am. He's at Rock of the Kingdom. They are a brother and sister organization, and he's ministering there, assisting Pastor Howard. He's assisting Pastor Howard. So pretty much on first Sundays, me and him tag team ministry. We tag team ministry on first Sundays.
Okay, what is Rock of the Kingdom? Is it a denomination, non-denomination, Methodist, what?
It's a non-denominational.
Okay. And non-denomination basically means anybody of any faith can attend?
Yes. They do stick to the basic Christian principles as it regards to acceptance of Jesus Christ and the connection between Jesus and God. They stick to their basic principles. It's just the way that their church isn't handled based on your basic organized layout. You attend most churches, they open a certain way, choir sings at a certain time, pastor comes on at a certain time, everything flows at a certain time. Where at Rock of the Kingdom, if you have a testimony to give, when they open up for testimonies, it's not like they're going to push you to cut your testimony off because the pastor's trying to speak. No, they want to hear what God is doing in the life of their people, and they'll let the Spirit do whatever needs to be done in that building during the time that that God allows. It's never really there's kind of a structure. They do try to follow a protocol. They do try to follow a system, but every so often you'll get in there and things will be going real, real good, and it might be a little bit of a late day, but we enjoy every moment of it.
Okay, that's good. Presently, are you still a Christian or?
No, I am a spiritualist. I do respect Christian values and Christian faith, but my principal standpoint is that I do not believe that one organization could possibly have the right answer. I believe that everybody has a right to seek a higher power in any way they see fit to do it. It's not my place to tell you that you should. Even when I'm ministering, I take the word and break it down so that people today can apply it to their life. I don't take it and drill it in as on the biblical aspect of it. I take it and I pull what the word is, and I break it down so that one, it can be understood, but two, you can actually take what is being read and see how it applies to your life, even though it happened 1,000 years ago.
Wow.
Even though that is what I do. I pretty much stand in a neutral zone because I have prayed and been in fellowship with Muslims. I have prayed and been in fellowship with Hindus. I have prayed and I have been in fellowship with people of multiple faiths. And my comfort comes in the fact that they are reaching for something that is greater than themselves that brings them peace. And as a spiritualist, you really cannot take, you don't take sides. You don't take on the position of saying, okay, well, if you don't believe what I believe, then you are not going to be able to get into heaven or see a life outside of this life you're living, or see a time outside of this life that you're living. That is not the stand that I take. It is more of a, do you have peace in your life? And if not, what are you missing? And have you thought to try and look at a higher purpose, a higher power that can bring you that type of comfort? Now, whichever one you choose, that's fine. Whichever one you choose, by all means, as long as it brings peace in your life.
That's true. You also have a very unique past. Did you go through a apprenticeship in your younger years?
I did. I studied under a Celtic medicine man. It is pretty much, Celtic is a Irish, Welsh, I'm gonna say, culture. And it is more pagan than anything. Now, it's not pagan as witchcraft, because there's a different. But it is pagan to the point of it's a polytheistic culture than a monotheistic culture. Meaning, monotheistic means you only have one God, one belief. Whereas polytheistic, you have deities. You have God and maybe demigods and such and such. But what I got out of it was the healing part. And that is what my main purpose, my main state was in the whole thing. I enjoyed the festivals and things that we had. I enjoyed the people, because the people were all very friendly. I never came in contact with anyone that was that made me feel like they were judging me, or that I was out of place or anything like that. It was always a very, very friendly atmosphere. And once we got to the learning part, it took me, growing up, all I knew was Western views. All I knew was American views. So it was interesting to me to talk to people and meet people that had belief in the concept that everything that you need here, everything you need to stay healthy is right here. Not manufactured, but is already here on this earth. It grows here. It develops here. All you have to do is know what it is, know what it treats, and know how to use it.
Okay, I can accept that. Just definitely. Going back over to, it's called it Celtic medicine. Celtic, that's
No,
it.
it's not Celtic medicine. Celtic is the culture.
Right.
There is no such thing. A culture cannot have their now. They might have their own techniques,
Mm-hmm.
like when you do like Thai massages and Reiki and things like. There are different techniques that might be that might come from a certain culture.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about herbal remedies and things of that nature, that's not. No culture can take full claim on that because the Native Americans here, they did it. Most of the countries in most of the eastern countries, Asian countries, Thailand, and things of that nature, they have been using it for many, many years. Kelp wraps and different types of leaf bandages and different types of energy massages and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
There is no culture that can take claim to to herbal healing, to herbal treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So there technically is no Celtic medicine as far as herbal remedies is concerned.
Okay. Would it have a herbal lore?
You said, do they have an herbal lore?
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. It was always like the information that I was given,
Mm-hmm.
and my main focus was strictly initially I wanted to learn healing of the hands. There are people throughout the country, especially like I said, in Asian cultures, where the people it has been documented that they can literally use nothing but their hands to heal certain illnesses, infections, broken bones, things of that nature, without ever having to make a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Now, initially, when it was first introduced to me, that was what caught my attention. That was why I wanted to transition, because at the time, Celtic was the culture that was brought to my attention,
Mm-hmm.
and that particular learning is what I wanted to really get into. But as I started to learn more about healing of the hands, I became introduced to herbal remedies,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to learn. I love to learn about new things.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about herbal remedies is that there's no way you can ever stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as you think you understand what this herb does, you learn something else about it and how it treats something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in manufactured medicines, they have medicines that they'll give somebody who is schizophrenic, but it's also used to treat mood disorders. It's also used to treat insomnia. They have, it's so many different things that it actually does.
Mm-hmm.
Till you kind of have to you have to stay on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what had me driving. That was my drive as far as learning that type of healing method. Like again, I have met people from other cultures that do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They do the exact same thing. Matter of fact, my wife, when she attended Southeastern Institute for Massage Therapy, she came home with a book about the history of massage therapy, and it gave a breakdown of Chinese medicine as well, or the methods of medicine used in China, and herbal remedies was in there. They were telling her about different wraps that were used and things like that. So again, it's not dominated by a culture. You can't really say a Celtic medicine. That's like saying North Carolina medicine. North Carolina don't have medicine. There is no North Carolina medicine. That's like saying Christian healing. Christians aren't privy to healing. As a matter of fact, Jesus did healing, and Jesus was Jewish. So there is no, you can't place it under a actual individual, under an individual culture.
Right. Now, when you say Celtic, a lot of times my perception is that Celtic, do they got a lot of African Americans or people of color that's into the Celtic culture?
Honestly, I didn't run into that many. I did not run into that many African Americans. I did meet some. I did. But I did not meet that many. The people that I was introduced to were not. But there was a few, but most of them were not African American.
I mean, like 1% of that particular culture was just happening with.
Now, I can't give you a percentage of that culture. Because it's a Irish Welsh culture that has slowly faded over time. So I only was able to deal with the people I encountered here in America, not overseas. What I learned was, I guarantee you, or what I've seen was a very, very small tidbit of what Celtic is as a whole. So I can't stand here and say, well, is this percentage, or there's this number of African Americans versus this number of Caucasians, or I can't give you those numbers because I honestly don't know.
Right.
I can only tell you that as far as the people that I came in contact with, I came in contact with more Caucasian people than I did African American people.
What about Asian Latinos?
I actually can't recall seeing any Asian Latinos.
Okay. All right. So a lot of people, because you was a Celtic medicine apprenticeship for like a few years.
It was 4 or 5 years, and it was mainly my time of studying and learning. That's pretty much what it was. It was an interesting time.
And you were studying to be a medicine man, right?
I was studying to learn medicine, pretty much to be a medicine man. That is what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I wanted to be a medicine man.
Something else you was telling me about laying on of hands and stuff like that, how it could really mess you up.
Oh yeah, the transference of energy, and in some cultures they consider to be the transference of spirits, whether it is demonic or non-demonic. Laying of hands is very, very tricky. One thing about me is in order for me to allow you to lay hands on me, I'm gonna have to really know you. And if I get any off sense about you, it is not gonna happen. And the same goes with my family. I don't allow anybody to lay, especially my daughters. I don't allow anybody to lay hands on my daughters. Period. I don't care if I've known you my whole life. Nobody's allowed to lay hands on my children.
I'll definitely.
It's serious.
How dangerous is it?
Like I said, some cultures, the passing of spirits is sometimes it's so awful. My wife, she was telling me some stories while she was in school, because with massages, they had to massage different people. They have to give massages and they had to get massages, and she told me of a few accounts to where people would get massages and their whole entire personality at that point would change. Their whole entire, they would be happy and in a good mood up until the time they had that clinic. And then once they gave them massage, she said their whole entire, mood will have changed, and it will because the negative energy of whoever they were giving a massage to transferred into them, and they can't. And a lot of people take in energy, but not many of them know how to release it. That's the thing with laying hands. A lot of people, they visit all these different churches or they go to these different functions and there's somebody there and they say, well, let me pray for you. And they walk up to them and that person lay hands on them. You don't know what that person is holding. You don't know what carries inside that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that person transfers it to you and you get home and next thing you know, you wake up and, you know, they say you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. No, you're carrying something that didn't belong to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't know it.
Yeah, they have no understanding. They definitely no understanding. Well, thank you for that little tidbit. People may question you about that at a later time. You said you was in the Army, Air Force, or?
I was in the Army.
Okay, super. How was that?
It was interesting. I was a parachute rigger, which pretty much means what we did was we worked in conjunction with I was in the 82nd Airborne Sustainment Division at Fort Bragg. And what we did was we packed the parachutes, we tested the parachute. So we spent days jumping out of airplanes. Sometimes we pack a parachute, jump out of an airplane, repack it, get another parachute, go back to the air facility, get refitted, get in another parachute, get back on the airplane, and do it again.
Wow.
Sometimes we did 2 jumps a day. You do night jumps. We did. It was the first jump, amazing. The first jump was amazing. Then the few jumps after that, you kind of get used to it. I did get to jump out of a Chinook, which is a helicopter with 2 propellers on the top of it. That's probably one of the best jumps I've ever had, you know, in my life, because you're jumping out the back of the airplane instead of jumping out of the side, or jumping out the back of a helicopter instead of jumping out the side. I've also jumped out of a C-17 and the C-130. It's an interesting job, but you take a lot of you get a lot of bumps and bruises being airborne, of course, because you hit the ground hard. Every time you hit the ground, your body bounces. You get very few soft landings, very few soft landings. So, and there's a lot of responsibility put on you, because in the creed for parachute riggers, the very last thing it says is that I will be sure always. If you were to pack a parachute and somebody dies because that parachute malfunction, you go to jail for life. They charge you with murder for it.
Wow.
Because you did not do your job. So you go to jail for it. So every small detail, because you have somebody's life in your hands. And even if it's not somebody's life, even if you're just rigging up a load to be dropped for a mission, if you have rigged up a Humvee and the parachute doesn't open in the air correctly, and that Humvee smashes into the ground, you just destroyed, you know, $1,000, you know, a few $1,000 vehicle. The military is gonna hold somebody responsible for that, and it's the person who rigged the parachute. So I've seen some very interesting missions. I did not get to deploy. I did want to deploy, but I was injured preparing to deploy, so I did not get to deploy. I did get to help on missions. One of my most interesting missions was do you remember when they had the big earthquake in Haiti?
Yes.
My unit was called to send food and water to Haiti during that earthquake. And I was actually one of the lead people in my unit to help oversee the rigging and shipping out of that food and that water.
Wow, that's
so
super.
And I received an award for it and everything.
Wow, that's cool.
My meritorious service in my humanitarian service in the mission for Haiti, and that was one of our good. It was a 24-hour mission. It started on Martin Luther King, the anniversary of Martin Luther King's birthday. They called us in, and we were on 24-hour shifts. We had 2 groups. One group worked 12 hours straight, and then you were off for 12 hours straight. And we kept rotating in. And I ended up having to work 16 hours on, and then I get 4 or 5 hours off, and I turn around and go right back in. And it was tiring, but at the end of the day, it was wonderful. I wouldn't take back my time in the military for nothing. I wish I could have stayed in.
I feel you on that. Let's go on to the topic of today, the power of complete balance. Again, that's by Dr. Robert Rankin Jr. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Well, the power of complete balance it's about wholeness of the body. It's about wholeness, period, of an individual. There are 3 parts to the body that has to line up: your mind, your body, and your spirit. Mm-hmm. Those 3 parts they work together, and they have to line up in order to fit, in order to have completion. Mm-hmm. In order for you to live a peaceful life, not to just be existing, but to actually live a peaceful life. Mm-hmm. Those 3 points, your mind, your body, and your spirit, has to be lined up. Mm-hmm. There has to be a sense of completion to those 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, super. The first part of it that you talked about is for to make sure complete balance of mind, and then you got their mental clarity and mental peace. Can you give us about 8 minutes on that and tell us what that's all about?
Okay, well, the mental clarity. A lot of people walk around in what I call a haze. A lot of people have a misconcept of what it takes for them to have balance. A lot of people are caught up in what other people think of them, what they should be doing in business, what their boss expects for them to do, what their husbands, what they expect them to do, what their families expect them to do, what their wives expect them to do, and so on and so forth. The expectations of other people, to where their mind gets foggy as to what dedication they should have to their own self. Not in an aspect of being selfish, but there has to come a point in when you have to say, I need to have a clear mind in order to be successful at the things that I want to do. You can't go out and say, I want to be a business owner, but the whole time you are working towards being a business owner, you're thinking about skateboarding. Mm-hmm. It won't work because your mind is so bogged down with skateboarding, as you won't be able to actually complete the things you have to complete in order to be a successful business owner. Running a family is hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be, like in my case, I'm a husband and a father and a pet owner. So mm-hmm. It takes a lot. Those are 3 things that it actually takes different mindsets to manage. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a clear mind, you will get that all scrambled up, and the next thing you know, you're trying to figure out where you went wrong. Mm-hmm. Why your children behave the way they do towards you, why your relationship with your spouse is the way it is. It's because you never took time to get your mind cleared. Mm-hmm. You never took the time to get an understanding of, okay, in order to be the best husband I can be, what mentality do I need to take into being married? Mm-hmm. What mindset do I need to take into preparing to be a father? How can I make sure that I'm the best person I can be for myself mentally, so that I can truly feel like I'm being the best person that I can be for other people? Mm-hmm. Because if you're not the best person for you, you can't be the best person for anybody else.
True that.
Confucius said you have to know thyself. You have to know yourself. You can't know yourself without a sense of mental clarity. Mm-hmm. You have to know that you know. And that haze so many people in society now, especially with technology and things like that. Most people spend more time on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Are people in martial arts or people in gyms? outside of those, most people don't take, and I'm not meaning meditation like sitting in a corner or in a room in the dark with your fingers together saying, that's not the type of meditation I'm talking about. Meditation is nothing but a sense of taking time out for oneself to allow your body to come down and your brain and your mind to become clear. That's what meditation is. But if you really think about it, how many times do a person really do that in a day? How many times, with everything you have going on, how many times do you actually take time to clear your mind? To say, okay, I'm pushing the phones away, pushing the computers away, TV away. I'm going to take 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, and I'm just going to clear my mind, break everything down that I need to do today, get everything in my head clear, and then I'm going to go about my day. We rush through everything without ever taking the time out to clear things up before we do. That's why everything is so jumbled up in our lives. That's why everything's so jumbled up in a day. Because we haven't taken the time to clear it up, to get focused. And that is the main thing about the clarity of the mind. Now, mental peace, that's something so important. Everybody says that they want peace. I want peace in my home. I want peace at work. Everybody says that is something that they want. But now, how many people go out and seek peace? Now, biblically, it says that you have to go out and seek peace. You have to go out and actually look for it. You actually have to go out and find it. Mentally, you have to take the time out to say, okay, what brings me peace? For me, music, whether I'm writing music, whether I'm producing music, whether I'm playing instruments, music brings me peace. Exercising, that brings me peace. So I try to incorporate those things into my life on a regular basis. That way, I have more peaceful things going on than I do unrest. So that at the end of the day, mentally, I'm balanced. At the end of the day, mentally, I'm in a better place. And if more people did that, then people's lives wouldn't be as crunched up. People wouldn't feel so overstressed at the end of their days.
Okay. What about the second thing that you talked about, is complete balance of body?
Now, complete balance of body. I don't want to get that mistaken as balance as in being able to do a handstand and go into a split and all that good stuff you see acrobats doing. That is not what I'm talking about. When I talk about balance of the body, I am talking about the physical, but that's exercising. That's being active to the point to where your body has to work in order to do things like burn off fat, in order to do things like have your metabolism speed up. A lot of people don't know that, especially in African Americans, a lot of African Americans suffer from vitamin D deficiencies. What a lot of people don't understand is the sun is a natural provider of vitamin D. So you would have less of a deficiency if you went outside. If you spent less time in the house and you spent more time outside, exercising, moving around, doing things, that deficiency, it probably won't go away, but it would be less of a deficiency. You wouldn't have to take an 800 milligram pill to give you vitamin D when your body is getting the amount of vitamin D that it needs, or part of that amount that is needed. So that there's a physical aspect that has to be taken care of, that just involves people taking better care of themselves physically. Now, the next part of that is the health as far as eating is concerned. Most people nowadays do not eat healthy. Now, society is actually starting to shift a little bit. There is more awareness that is being drawn towards eating healthy. You see more places that they tell you how many calories are in their food. They tell you all the ingredients that are in their meals. They advertise that they're using more natural ingredients and things of that nature because in America the obesity level is, over the roof in America. They say America is one of the fattest countries in the world. And in part that's because society moves so fast here that fast food is most people's best friend. In between, you get ready to go to work, I'm gonna stop by McDonald's, I'm gonna get me a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, I'm gonna get me a coffee, and I'm gonna go to the office. And then for lunch, I'm gonna call Chinese restaurant and let them bring me my lunch. Now, again, it's starting to change a little bit. More people are like Wendy's, they offer salads. McDonald's, they offer salads. Places offer things like chicken wraps and grilled chicken sandwiches. You see that there is a change that is coming around. But even though that change is being done, you still have those people who will see the chicken salad and choose the Big Mac. You have the people, but those people will also complain that they have indigestion all the time. That they don't understand why their blood pressure is always so high. That they can't see. They don't understand why they keep getting headaches and things of that nature because their body is out of whack because they're not putting in the right things. And your body can only do but so much. Your body takes in and processes what it can. But even when it comes down to pollutants that you put in your body can only push out so much of that before it has to retain it. That's why you hear a lot of people talk about detoxes now. There are a lot of people running around talking about detox. The body holds in so much stuff, and it holds it in for years. And people are being diagnosed with diabetes left and right. And what they're trying to do now is people are trying to scramble to reverse what has already been done. They're trying to reverse. So they're saying, okay, well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean my whole entire body out with a detox. We do a 7-day detox. And then I'm going to eat right. And then I'm going to exercise. Those are good steps. But the important key is you have to dedicate yourself to those things and place it in your mind. That's because when your mind is at this point, your mind is stable. You've done the steps to complete the balance in your mind. Now you use that clarity to understand and dedicate your body to becoming complete by making it physically healthy, by putting in the proper things that it needs to as far as eating habits. And then a strong key point is things like using herbal remedies and taking vitamins over running directly to your manufactured medicines. There are herbal remedies that can treat certain things. And this is not me saying do not take your medicine. I have different conditions and I do take medicines for them. But what I have been able to do is I have been able to work with my doctors so that I take I take my herbal supplements, my herbal remedies that I have put together based on the studies that I have done. And they have taken the effects that those herbs do, the effects that I get from those herbs, and then they have measured what my medicine is supposed to do and decreased my medicine so that my medicine is doing half of the work and the herbal remedies is doing the other half of the work. So therefore I don't have side effects. I don't have to deal with the side effects that I was dealing with when my body was being bombarded by these extra chemicals. And so that is important. Even if it's just a one a day multivitamin, those vitamins are key to your body. Even if it's just, if you suffer from insomnia, if you have issues going to sleep, lavender tea, or lavender extract, turn it into your own tea. I go to an herbal shop and I buy straight lavender, and I create my own tea, lavender and peppermint. I'm telling you, one of the best teas in the world at night. Lavender, peppermint. Sometimes I throw a little vanilla silk milk in there. It will knock you straight out. I'm telling you, it will knock you out. But you can always, people cook with herbs because it makes the food taste better. But a lot of those herbs are good for your body. They have medicinal effects to your body. So if you take those three, the physical, what you eat, and put in your vitamins and your herbal supplements, start cooking with your garlic, cook with your onions, your basil, your sassafras, with your celery, with those different type of things. Put some peppermint in. Like my wife, she makes omelets and she put peppermint in the omelets. It's the greatest omelet I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Take those different things, take those herbs and start playing around with them and put them in your food. Turmeric. I always encourage people, put turmeric in whatever you can get it in. Turmeric is a really good herb. And it's used as a seasoning in food. I even put it in my teas. I even put turmeric in my teas. It has a component called cumin, which is you can actually go to the store and buy cumin by itself. But the turmeric as a whole with the cumin, it has the ability to fight cancer. The cancerous cells in your body. Scientists are right now doing studies on how to treat and completely try to break down cancerous cells using turmeric. So, like me, I try to get at least a teaspoon of turmeric in my system a day. When I get my morning tea, drop me some lemon, some peppermint, some turmeric, and some fennel seed. Put it in my coffee maker. Brew me some coffee. I get it in my system every day. Those small things make a big difference.
Okay, I definitely see that. For the last thing that we have is complete spiritual balance, and that's connecting with a source of greater and or inner peace.
Now, the reason why that's important, a lot of people, as I stated earlier, man does not have the ability to support himself. Man does not have the ability to support himself. There has to be some type of support system in order for man to be able to function. That's just not even man, but all creatures, all things. It has to be something there as a support system. And the belief system in something higher than oneself, or even an inner peace or an inner belief, is good. It is encouraged. Now, there are some people that, they say, well, I don't believe in God. Now, but at the end of the day, they believe in something. I've never in my life met a person that did not believe in something. Now, they might not identify it the same way, but they believe in something. When times get hard, or when life is kicking them, or when they're in a rough situation, they turn to something that is greater than themselves. And so it is important to have that. It is important to complete that balance, to complete that whole system in your body. It is important that you have an understanding that, okay, there is something greater than me that I can use as that support system. Because you can't always count on man. You can't always. Anybody that's ever had a best friend that you're not friends with right now can tell you that you cannot always depend on man. But you can depend on what you believe in. That doesn't, unless you decide to change what you believe in, that never goes away. So you can always have a sense of stability if you are moved by what you believe. That's my mother. my mother has been through a lot in her life, but my mother she's Christian, and she believes strongly in the power of Jesus Christ, strongly in the power of Jesus Christ. And if it had not been for that strong belief in Jesus Christ, even she'll tell you that she would not have been able to make it to where she is right now, because that has been her fallback. Every time life has been kicking her, that is who she called on. Every time she's been down, that is who she's called on. Even when she's been up and she's been happy, that is who she calls. That is who she recognizes. So it is important that there is a higher system, a higher being, or however people look to it, that can give them a good support system, something to lean on.
Who do you look towards?
I identify God. I look towards God as a pure energy source. A entity. I call God He. My reference is He. I know some people that they see God as Mother Earth, so they call it she. A lot of pagans refer to she because they worship Mother Nature. But me, I refer to him as he. My relationship with God, I've always spoken to God in conversation like we are best friends. God is my father. God is my best friend. So even when I pray, my prayers are, hey, Father, it's me. This is what I'm dealing with. Or I thank you for doing this. Or I praise you for doing this. That is, I have a very personal relationship with God. So that is my source of higher. I believe that I'm strong, but I know exactly how strong I really am, and I know it takes something. There is something out there that moves me to that next level when I'm in my deepest depression.
So how does a person go about finding that sense of peace, that greater than themselves?
Now that, you can't really lead a person to that. You can inform them about your experiences. Like a person can sit and listen to what I've just told you about my connection with God. And then they can go out and say, okay, well, that's what I am looking for. I want that type of connection. And at that point, they can start seeking that higher power on their own. And they can come to me and we can talk and we can pray, and I can give them information on what I have experienced and what I've been through and what I do in order to get in contact, in order to strengthen my connection with God. But again, if it is somebody who is on the path to being a Muslim, I've never been a Muslim. So I've never been under the cloak of Islam. I can't guide them to Allah the way that they would need to be guided. But I know many Muslims. Good friends with them, and they would be able to inform that person on what steps it takes to be a dedicated Muslim in order to reach the level, that spiritual connection that is embedded in Islam. Now, like I said, as a spiritualist, it's I don't want to say it's simpler, but it's just you and God. That's the only connection you have to. You don't have to. There's no middleman. There is no anything that you have to engulf yourself into in order to build that connection. You just go directly for the connection. Okay, and that's what I would tell them.
So regardless, so for your own personal experience, who is Jesus Christ to you?
Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Jesus Christ is the Messiah, as Christians identify him as. One thing I never do is I never take away from what people believe. It is not my place to do that. Now, that is what scientifically they have proven that Jesus Christ did exist. Can't take that away from him. Scientifically, the ability to lay hands and heal people is possible. Can't take that from him. The fact that he lived and there were people who believed that he was so important that they would look to him and follow him in the preachings of God and the message that he gave of God, historically, that can be backed up.
Mm-hmm.
So who would I be to try to disclaim that?
Right, but who is he to you?
I just told you.
Okay.
He is the son of God.
He's the son of God.
He is the Christian. He is the Christian Messiah and bridge to God.
Right. So, but you're a spiritualist, not a Christian, right?
I am not a Christian, no.
Okay. All right. So, if somebody wanted to become a spiritualist, how would they do it?
They would do it the way they do almost anything else. A spiritualist is no different from anybody else that is seeking faith. You believe that there is a God.
Okay.
And you seek that God on a spiritual level, on a personal level, in a place you want to connect with God in a place that no man can reach, and that you cannot connect even with your wife and your children. You cannot connect with them on the same level that you can connect with that particular entity, which you identify as God or whatever name you decide to identify him as. Like I said, I identify him as Father because that's what he is to me.
There you go. That's super. All right, we got 4 minutes left for the show. Could you give us a summary of the power of complete balance for everyone again?
Okay. Well, in summary, it's like I said, it's broken down into the three major components: the completion, the balance of your mind, the balance of your body, the balance of the spiritual balance. Balance of your mind, that consists of clarity, trying to keep yourself level-headed, try to get an understanding of what's going on in your life, in your own head, taking time out to not run a million miles, but to slow down just long enough so that you can get an understanding of who you are and what you're doing so that you're not overwhelmed mentally. A physical balance comes in where you are doing something physical. The balance of the body is something physical, where you're actually going out, exercising, things of that nature. It also takes in part of eating healthy, doing things to make sure your body is taken care of, and looking to things that were naturally developed here on this planet to bring you health. Different herbs and things of that nature. And then the last part is the spiritual balance, which it pulls people towards something to lean on or something to move towards that will never go away, because it is their belief system. You can't take a person's belief from them. They can change their belief, but you can never take what a person believes from them. Therefore, you can never take that support from them.
Okay, I got all of that. So do you think that what happened as far as you feeling sick in your stomach before coming to do the show was an attempt to be blocked from doing it today?
No, I don't look at things that way. I think me getting sick was just me eating something bad. That's just it just breaks down to me. I ate something that just didn't settle right.
Yeah, because I was like, man, I was really looking forward to doing this show today. And you like, you're sick? I was like, no, you can't be.
Yeah, I was the exact same way. But like I said, I got some aloe in my system, which is good for your stomach. I got some aloe in my system, and my stomach is still unsettled, but I'm here.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm better than I was.
Well,
So.
like I said, like I was telling producer, I'm glad that you were able to show up to Health Awareness Talk and be able to give us your information on the power of complete balance for everyone to listen on and to gain the information and also to strengthen themselves. Is there any way for people to get in contact with you?
Yes, they can contact me through my email. They can email me at drrobertrankin@hotmail.com. That is dr.robert, Robert, Rankin, Renkin, at hotmail.com.
Super. Okay, thank you for being on the show today, Dr. Rankin, and everyone out there. Have a wonderful night.